Bloomberg Audio Studios.
Podcasts, radio, news.
Single best idea. It's going to be a short edition because I have to commute across Midtown. Given the UN meetings, that's a challenge to say at the least. New York City, the island of Manhattan, is just packed with dignitaries and escorts and blocks shut down and the rest. Tomorrow, David Gurr and myself at the Earthshot Innovation Awards at the Park Plaza Hotel with good conversations with a solid tilt towards geopolitics and international relations. On the market now, John Stoltzfus, an important voice. He's at OPCO with decades of experience. It's not so much that he's a bull. It's not so much that he said be in the market. It's that Stoltzfus has rationalized it through the might of the American economy. He continues that view. Here is John Stoltzfus of OPCO.
You know, Tom, I usually prefer to do that in December because then, and this year will be beyond the election. But I would suspect likely higher as long as we don't get what Barton Biggs in the old days would have called a bolt from the blue or a sock to the jaw. We'd have to think that things are just basically improving. If we can just keep it moderate growth with resilience in jobs and economic growth and corporate earnings, I think we're good to go. As long as we avoid getting complacent and as long as we can avoid having the bolt from the blue hit us, I think considerably higher and well beyond the 5,900 target probably.
John Stoltzfus with OPCO. Matthew Winkler, the founder of Bloomberg News, joined us today for a spirited discussion on the state of a swing state, Wisconsin. And in that conversation, Matt Winkler highlighted how everyone's been wrong over the last 18 months within polling over the state of the American consumer. John Stoltzfus there continuing the theme of resilience, a decent economy, a solid economy. I don't know, but little talk there of a recession talk. Incredibly challenging geopolitics at this time. We touch upon it. David Gurr has been a foundation to our coverage there. But over the weekend, just what was witnessed with the new fear of all this technology on the border of northern Lebanon, pagers and walkie-talkies and all that. What a joy to speak to Daniel Tannebaum today at Oliver Wyman. He's truly expert on geopolitics, our fears summed up over decades, and much of it wrapped around the idea of sanctions and their efficacy over the war in Ukraine. Here's Dan Tannebaum in these uncertain times on sanctions.
That's a bit of the question that I'm hearing and that I'm having discussions with people throughout the week is, have U.S. sanctions lost their potency? If I think about before the Iran deal was enacted and then ultimately scrapped, there was a pretty healthy fear in most pockets of the world of being on the wrong side of U.S. sanctions because the fines were substantial. The embarrassment was significant. With Russia, I'm not seeing the same fear. Venezuela, we continue to sanction from a U.S. standpoint. Maduro's still in power. So how do you actually bring the fear factor back to sanctions?
Daniel Tannebaum, Oliver Wyman there, and his expertise in sanctions, and he was really brilliant on the uncertainty to supply chains given some of our geopolitics. And, of course, that addressed here in New York in the coming hours and days at the UN meetings. We're out on YouTube. Subscribe to Bloomberg Podcasts, and your commute beforehand on SiriusXM, on Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, new technology across this nation and worldwide, I should point out, as well. Good morning to all. 99.1 FM in Washington. Our flagship in congested New York, Bloomberg 1130. And I should point out 92.9 FM in Boston. We did touch upon the fact that Boston College won this weekend. On Apple Podcasts, on YouTube Podcasts, single best idea.